Hello everyone. I, Himali Gadda from Hungry Brain, welcome you all to this webinar. Baby saying, I want black and white, not pink and blue. Something different, isn't it? It's been years, and this is how we've been grown up. A baby girl, pink, baby boy, blue. So we'll come to how things affect the baby, what baby wants, and what we actually do, and the gap, everything. So we'll start with the birth of the baby. A small baby taking birth in the operation room. Here the baby is born and the whole lifestyle is altered. The moment of enjoyment, it's like, wow. The celebration that comes in the life is the best celebration of the life. Any news is not such a good news like a birth of baby. Out of this happiness, joy, it's like, wow, we'll bring this and that and the best for our baby. The intention of this webinar is for you parents to be present to a gap of what we think, what our world is, what baby requires, what baby's world is. And they both are different. It's our lack of ignorance which has a gap. And due to this gap, there's many things that happen. With the same concept, we had our previous webinars, Wonder in the Womb, first 2 days of the newborn. And today we are going to see how colors impact the baby. So with the gifts that we bring for the baby, what are the gifts? Rattles, clothes, and shampoos, and powders, and toys. And how are they colored? Bright, and baby colors, and so on. Are you aware that baby can see them or not? There would be people who will say that at birth, baby hardly sleeps. Baby cannot see much. But do you know why baby sleeps so much? It's been years that baby sleeps, right? Baby sleeps in the initial days, but now we'll understand the fact. While in the womb, where there's no light, what happens? The rods and cones which are there in the eye, they're not developed. The vision is not fully developed. When baby comes out in this world and opens the eyes, it's like, oh, it's so light. It's so loud. I better not open my eyes. Let them be shut. You would say, is that so? How come? To understand this, just assume when you are sleeping and in that phase, you're sleeping in a dark room and someone ons the light. And in that room, suddenly it's like light. And with this light, what will happen to our eyes? Will we be comfortable to open them, or it would be like, oh, it's too loud? Yes, it would be not so easy for us to open our eyes. And this is what baby experiences. The vision of the eyes at the time of birth is not so good. And during that phase, what actually happens is the retina, the pupil, it expands and it contracts. It expands and contracts, and that's the exercise it requires to build up the muscles, build up the eye muscles, the vision. So what happens is when there is less of light, the pupil, it contracts so that the light does not go away. And then when there is more light, when there is less light, the pupil expands. So the eyes can take in more light. And when there is more light, the pupil contracts. So this expansion and contraction of the eye pupil gives an exercise for the vision to see better. So you would say, बच्चे को दिखता नहीं है, 2-3 महीने लगेंगे. By that time, baby will be able to see things properly, isn't it? Now, do you know how actually baby sees properly? Or how does an eye get an exercise to see properly? So here how things are. Just imagine, or if you remember the children that the babies that you had in your life, young babies, what would they do? They would go on staring the light or the window till it becomes so loud for them that every other thing becomes dark. There's a contrast that they get. And with this contrast that they get, the eye pupil expands and contracts, and the exercise happens. So in a day, baby's capability to do this exercise would be say around 40, 50, 60. But the opportunities that he could find out in the nature are around 10, 12, 15. Now, what is actually happening? So these figures are for us to understand. But when baby's capacity is to have that exercise of 40, 50 times a day, and it gets an opportunity of around 10, 15 times, the potential of the baby is coming down. It's not being utilized. Baby does not get the required exposure that it requires. In other words, baby's vision could be better at an earlier stage if he could get the exercise of 40, 50 times. But as we do not provide that particular opportunities, babies miss out. So now here's the point. How can we do that? So expose a baby to something like this black and white charts. Have black and white charts on a board or something and put it close to the baby. You will see that when baby sees constantly this black and white contrast, light and dark, light and dark, light and dark, the eye pupil will start getting exercise. And those exercises are developing the eyes. Now what will happen is, when you keep this board besides the baby, sit around for, you'll just keep it for the day. We've seen, and it's been recorded enormous times, that even a 1-day-old baby will stare at this chart for 10 to 15 seconds. Surprising, isn't it? 1-day-old baby hardly keeps eyes open for 8-10 seconds. Yes, this happens because baby wants that. The eyes, they're not so comfortable with all the loud colors. Baby does not want pink and blue. Baby does not want colors. Baby wants black and white. So the vision is clear. When the vision is clear, what happens? Baby can see things better. So there's a process that happens. There are 3 stages that happens. One is scanning, another is fixation, and third is tracking. Scanning. So when a baby is born, though the vision is not so clear, but baby will scan. There's a fan here, there's a light here, there are some furniture here, or a door here. Obviously, baby will not know these things as what I'm naming them as, but for him it should be something here, there, 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 there. So eyes are scanning the things. They will get a rough, blurred vision and picture of where the baby is. Though the vision is not clear, the scanning capability and the memory of it is so strong that baby can recognize when baby is shifted from one room to the other room. From the hospital to the home, and home from living room to the bedroom. If there's a shift, baby can easily make it out. Why? Because scanning takes place. The second thing is fixation. Fixation happens when the focus of the eyes, or the contraction and expansion, and the relaxation of the eyes is there. So what is fixation is? Fixation is when baby sees one thing and the focus is completely on that particular thing for a few seconds. Now that focusing or fixing the vision to one particular thing for a few seconds develops the whole pathway. When something is seen through optical nerves, a message goes to the brain, and then there's something happens, and then brain starts thinking or processing, and then this is how the brain develops. But for the same process, for the optical nerve to get developed and things happening, that is required fixing. The third thing is tracking. So tracking is focusing on the outlines. So the tracking will come when the muscles have developed to an extent. Now, what type of development the muscles will have? This is what we'll see. So there are two pens, green and blue. So for us, you and me, when I say see at green, we'll see at green and blue, and we'll see at blue. And immediately we can focus on green and blue, green and blue, green and blue. And it can happen in a millisecond, isn't it? But for a baby to focus here, no, it's a blurred vision. And then as we scan the camera lens to get a proper focus, the eyes, the muscles inside, they will scan it and get a proper focus of it. Whatever vision they see through the eyes while fixation, they'll send the message to the brain. And the brain will say, oh, it's not so clear. Have a little more focus or defocus or something. Brain will go give some information and the through optical nerves, and then that vision will be altered. And then there would be a time in fixing that baby can actually see the pen in the most clearer to its extent, to its vision. And now when baby sees this blue color, again the eyes vision will shift from green to blue. Now what happens is here again there would be a focus. Now to understand this focus and defocus, have two pens in the same line. Suppose if you're seeing to the blue, you will see this green as a little blurred. And when you see green, you will see this blue as little blurred, isn't it? So what we do or what our eyes do is that something happens automatic. There's no one who takes care of it. Now with this, for a baby, it's not automatic. After birth, we all have done this process where we can understand this difference. Now, while understanding this difference, this is an exposure that brain wants. We'll see something, have the focus here clear, get the better focus, this goes in the brain. Okay, now I want to see at this distance, at the distance of say 10 inches, that's how my eyes will focus. When I have to see something here at 15 inches, that's how my eyes will focus. And then with practice, it becomes automatic. And then will that time come where tracking happens. So tracking is you see the baby sees the corner of any image. So if it's a circle, baby can see its outline. If it's a pen here, baby can see the outline and the eyes will go at the outlines. So this is how eyes are developed, vision is developed. Now it's just not something to see that we see it as clear, but there are so many elements that we see. We see the depth of a product, a thing. So if it's a pen, what I'll be seeing is we'll be seeing the color, the dimension of it, the depth of the image, and maybe some movements that happens. So even while pen is moving, I can actually see it. Even when the pen is moving, you can actually see that. So with the immature eyes, it becomes difficult. It becomes difficult even for binocular vision, vision with two eyes concentrating on one image. Now, for baby, this is very important. The most important thing is to see, because understanding the world is with seeing, maximum with seeing. And now with seeing this, what can we do? We can give a support to the baby with black and whites. And with this black and whites, they get more exercises of expansion and contraction. With this light reflex, the eye pupil is developed, the retina and the rods and cones. The rods and cones, rods are something which is sensitive to light, and cones are something which are responsible for coloring the vision. Now with this perspective, what is important is that both rods and cones are developed, but they will not develop unless baby gets either that black and white exposure, or will see the nature and find that black and white or dark and light exposure. I've met many parents and grandparents who said, why do we expose black and whites to the baby? Giving this and that, and won't it be pressurizing the baby? I would say to all of you, if there is a frame in the room, if there is a clock in the room, if there is a fan in the room and baby sees it, is this a pressure? No, isn't it? This is it. This is something that is there. Why not have something for baby's development? Have those black and whites for initial 1.5 months, 2 months, and you can see enormous difference in the vision that baby has. You can, the moment the baby can see things clearly, there would be like a very clear image. So along with we go on, you have and you can write your questions here and we'll be answering them. So in 5 more minutes, I'll start answering the questions. If you have, please have them written here. So with those black and whites, what happens is the exposure that baby gets for the exercises, which otherwise was around 10-15, now extends to 20-30. But what will happen is when the chart is there in front of the baby and baby seeing the chart, he's done with a lot of exercise, I'm done, tired. Then baby will shift the eyes from here and shift the face from the chart and see something else. We will not force itself to see it. If we do not give that exercise and if baby does not get that exposure, what happens is seeing this loud colors, lights, baby gets tired because there's loss of energy. And that's what we do. Like when we meditate, we close our eyes. When we are tired, we sleep, we close our eyes. It's the energy loss that goes from the eyes is in good amount. So for the baby, we prevent energy loss, we give them, and also we give them an opportunity to exercise. What happens is it results in the better vision. Now, understand the whole connection of development that happens. We see things as different. So when baby is able to rotate is one step, when baby is crawling is another step, when baby is walking is another step, and so on. Today I'll explain you the connectivity in how baby is exposed to things and how the development takes place. Ready to listen? Something very interesting. So whenever baby sees something and there is an exposure, and baby can get a lot of movements for expansion and contraction of the vision, what actually happens? Yes, vision starts being clear. Baby can see things much better. And when baby starts seeing things better, what do you think? How will baby respond? How can you understand that baby can see things? Have you ever thought so? Simple. Now you observe the baby. 1 month, 1.5 month, 2-month-old baby, whatever. When there's a lot of hands and legs movement, this is how baby indicates, baby responds. I can understand what I'm seeing. I can actually get what you're seeing, what I'm seeing and understand it. It makes sense to me. And when it makes sense to me, I'm happy. And my happiness has been shown by my hands and legs movements. Now we'll see inside what happens. We'll understand it. So with the movement of hands and legs, for a baby's hands and legs. So just imagine when we are moving our hands and legs. Yeah, exactly. When we are exercising, what happens is we get tired, or this some demand of energy that takes place. The lungs, they start working better. They are not pressurized, but then there's a demand on lungs to work more. And that's why doctor says us, practice or exercise every day. Your heart and your lungs requires that exercise on daily basis. Now for a baby, when there's a lot of hand and legs movement, the lungs get a demand on working better and more. Now you see what lungs, when they are working better, what actually happens? The respiration increases. With the increase of respiration, what happens? The vocal cord. In the respiration, the esophagus, you can see the vocal cord, vocal box, it's there. So with a better respiration and more respiration and work on those areas, you can see sounds being clear. with clear sounds, babbling and speaking those words and all will make a difference. So now, it's such a small process that happens step by step, but one thing is connected to another thing. So a stimulation, a better vision of something indicates more clear vision for the baby. With the clear vision, what happens is more hands and legs movement, better respiration, better communication. Would you ever think of seeing something relates to better communication or clarity in speech? Amazing, isn't it? This is how our human body is being made up. Just because we are not aware of it, it does not work well. There's so many things which are connected to each other, like crawling is connected to communication or speaking. There's so many different things. We from years have been believing baby will grow at its own space. Yes, baby will always grow at its own space. But there is something, some process that happens in that space, in that time period, which makes baby have that development. Science helps us understand what are the processes that baby goes through, and that's a place where we can support the baby. Now just imagine if you could give your baby lots of black and whites, how would that be? Baby will do the eye exercise as and when he wants to, and when tired, it's done. So if the baby's capacity to do the exercises 40-50 times, he'll do to that extent. And if not, he'll stop. At maybe 30, he'll stop. But otherwise, it's to find out things in nature and find out those opportunities to have that exercise, get tired with finding them out, 10, 15, and we're done. This happens when we have a loud environment, that is colorful toys and everything. For us, pink and blues are attractive. For baby, it requires black and white. This is a very crucial thing which is absent in our upbringing just because our lack of knowledge. It's not that we don't want to do anything. Rather, we have to give our best to our babies. But unfortunately, our lack of knowledge does not allow us. So it's two ways. It does not allow us to support the baby, and on the worst side, we introduce certain things to the baby in such a way it creates problems to them. So where we can have black and whites and have the vision being clear faster, we give colors and baby slips more, baby gets tired more. So that's what's it's been happening from years and years. And the only intention to have this series of webinars is for you parents to understand this gap. There are so many other gaps. There's one more gap that we will be discussing on our next webinar, which is on 17th of November, Saturday, same time, 12 noon. And it would be something different than what we do. We always say, shh, silence, baby's sleeping. But now here we'll understand a different platform. No silence, please. Baby is hungry to learn. Yes. So we'll know more, a lot more on this topic. Baby is hungry to learn more. And you will be surprised, astonished to know the level of hunger that baby has. It has been years, the myth or the thought process that we have is, ye bechara bachcha karega kya? Kar kya sakta hai? Baby can only do things or is capable to learn only after it can sit. In this webinar, you'll be surprised, be shocked to understand that when baby sits is actually the time when learning comes down. So before we end out, we'll just answer on the question done by Vidhi Parmar. There are so many baby colors available. Then why black and white? It's so boring. Thanks, Vidhi, for this question. So Vidhi, what's boring and what's interesting is what you think. For you, it's boring. For you, it's interesting. Just imagine, for a South Indian, what would be interesting? Rice, of course. And for a North Indian, if we say rice, oh, it's so boring. As different people have different taste, different people, as per their stage and age and phase, things are different. For you and me, black and white would be boring. Colors would be like, wow. But as I shared, when you introduce more colors to your baby, what you're actually doing is not supporting the baby for the development. Don't take it with you as it's boring for you or not. Okay? Go for the baby. Baby requires black and white. Trust me, if you have a young baby, even on if you expecting parent on day one, you can see baby will be staring at those black and whites. Our sisters, our nurses, doctors, they would have never seen something like this. If you ask them, if they see, oh, baby sees so much, and when will baby see or focus so much for a so longer time? When they really want it. So just forget. It could be boring in your language, but for baby, it's like, wow, it's party time. I want those black and whites. Now, this is a question, Brinda Mehta. How about using the red color? So, Brinda, red is also contrast color. But as I shared about rods and cones, cones are responsible for taking in colors or perceiving the colors. Cones have to be developed at one level where the color perception is there. The perception of color to a better level happens around the age of 2.5, 3 months, 3.5, 4 months, but not before that. Now, what happens is, till then, if it would be black, white, and other colors are in the gray tones. So, though we believe, and there are so many people and thought processes that believe we should expose red color to the baby. But what impact that black and white has, red does not have. Let the eyes develop with black and white, and then you can introduce red. It's not an issue. Another question by Aditi surveys, newborns can hardly see anything. Then how does it matter? Wow, Aditi. Such a nice question. How does it really matter? Aditi, I'll ask you, does it really matter for you if your baby can see you early? Isn't it? It matters. It's that baby sees less because baby sleeps more and sees less is because the eyes are not developed. Start exposing your baby with black and whites, you will see a difference. And then you will matter a lot. And for baby, it will matter a lot. So we'll have the next question by Asha. When do we introduce colors? Yeah, Asha. So as I shared, 2.5, 3 months is the time when the cones are developed to that extent. But we would put it this way. When the moment you see the tracking happens well, so eyes, when they see an object and they can focus on its outline, that's the time that tracking is being developed. Then it's like a good time to start with colors. Start with simple colors, silhouettes, like if it is green or red or blue, the same picture in the same color. And then gradually add colors. Yeah, so this is a question in the newborn kit, how to introduce the audio bottles to the baby and in how many intervals. Do we need to speak anything while making the noise? So Brinda, in a question, you've said that introducing the audio bottles, audio is also one of the sound stimulation. Any stimulation that you give, if it is sound, smell, have everything in association. We do not remember things, just one thing. So if I say flower, it's like, what will come in your mind with flower? Red, rose, smell. So always there are 2-3 things that gets associated. So whenever you have any sound, it would be, you may not know that sound or something, but have connections. So it's a soft sound, snoo sound, something that you can say to that, Brinda. Yeah, so the next question that we have is from Bhumi. I have a premature baby and he's in ICU and hardly sees anything. What should I do? Bhumi, I can understand when baby is in NICU, that's a time when it would be most critical time for you. You as a parent want to be with the child, and a baby is there far away. Now we'll see the situation of the baby. When baby is close to us, as we spoke in our previous webinar, your smell and everything that really matters to the baby. It's a lot that makes a difference when baby is with you and baby is not with you. Now, when baby is not with you, that comfort zone that baby gets, I'm safe, is missing. Most important thing, if the doctor allows you to the NICU for feeding, have those times with the baby, have some news, some lullaby speaking, and for your baby, being in NICU would be for physical concerns, right? But eye, smell, sound, they would be appropriate. Give more stimulations. Anything that baby does, even turning here and there, is an outcome of some development that happens. So seeing this would also be better. So we have got few more questions, but our time is just about to end. How to introduce black and white? The last question that I'll take from Samir. So Samir, have those charts done and place it close to the baby. So place wherever baby would be lying and is awake for quite a long time. Those charts will make a difference. You can just take a white chart and a black chart and stick them, 2 A4 size or some things, and have a checkered pattern. Why checkered? Because something close and something far will give a better eyes movement from here to there to see and focus it out. So I'm sure you would have got all your answers. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be moving around with many different informations that you would have never been thought of. And those small tips and information which will make a remarkable difference in your baby's development. So subscribe, have those reminders set for the YouTube channel that you can come to know about the next webinars, and you'll get things. Connect to us on Facebook, Instagram on hungrybrain.in. You can also write your questions to us directly on our website or our email ID you can visit our website www.hungrybrain.in and write your questions on our emails support@hungrybrain.in. I'm sure this webinar has contributed in your life, and it will make a difference. Enjoy learning. Thank you.